guess in a nutshell, my deconversion was me getting tired of tripping over all those items I've been sweeping under the rug for so many years. And I decided I wanted to take an objective look, as objective as I could be. I don't think anyone could be 100% objective. If anything, I was leaning towards Christianity, but I wanted to face them head on and question them, not just defend them or throw some apologetic answer at them. So I started studying different angles, and this was over a course of months, and it was painful. It was extremely, extremely painful, especially towards the end when I began to realize that my God wasn't real. The biblical God that I had loved and worshipped and followed for so many years wasn't real. And so I would probably characterize it as painful, extremely painful. I mourned for my God as if an actual person had died. Months of depression and crying and this and that. And I even had some Christian friends tell me that was because that was the Holy Spirit telling me that I needed to come back. But I don't believe it was. It was just me going through a very normal human process of mourning and healing. And after going through that process, I realized that there was light at the end of the tunnel, and I was fine.
How did you persevere through your deconversion process?
I'd say for me, it was just my desire to know truth, and to seek evidence, and to seek knowledge. My thirst for that, and for things that to add up. You know, no matter where the truth was going to lead, I wanted to follow the truth, and that was the drive of my journey. Is I wanted to know truth. If the truth led me to God, fine, great. But if the truth led me to there not being a God, and when I say God, I'm referring to the God of the Bible, then so be it. But what I desired more than anything was truth, and to live a life that was real. I wanted to live in reality, and that's what kept me going, even though it was painful and hard. The truth kept me going. It was my gas, so to speak.
What most hindered your pursuit of truth?
I think what hindered it more than anything were my emotions, fear of losing that one-stop shop.
Which is what church is.
Church, yeah, losing that. Fear of being rejected by friends and family members. Fear of people finding out that I didn't believe, whether it be coworkers, colleagues, bosses, people at Starbucks, whoever, and being discriminated against. I never really thought about that until I started thinking about what it was going to cost me when I walked away from my Christianity. And there, you just don't think about those things until you're actually faced with it, until you're actually going through that process of walking away. So I think fear and my emotions of how people would react, what people would do and not do.
You're now coming from a place where you understand doubt and you understand belief. So how has that changed your life?
I can understand believers, obviously, because I walked in their shoes. I understand how they think and why they believe what they believe. I can almost feel compassion for them now. I've made mistakes when I first came out and started talking to my friends because I just wanted them opened their eyes, and I came across, I think at times, arrogant, and I learned from my mistakes, but now I have compassion on my friends, my Christian friends, and so I'm able to understand why they do what they do. I can see their point of view, um, but I also understand doubt, and I understand the other side of the coin as well. Um, and so I can almost in a way connect with non-believers and people on a deeper level. I'm no longer trying to win souls or um, extend my hand towards people or humanity for a God. It's a little bit more altruistic. I'm doing it to help a fellow human being. Um, so in a way, it's almost more beautiful and more meaningful. Um, but I guess the biggest thing is just a sense of understanding people, and especially Christians, and being able to understand just people in general, because we all have desires and wishes and goals and fears, and questions of what happens after death. Yeah, in a way, I almost feel like I can connect better, or better sounds a little arrogant, differently, in a deeper way with just people in general, because I realize we all have this fear of death and what happens after death. We all desire for meaning in our lives, and I understand it from the religious view, and I also understand it from the non-religious view, and I can kind of bridge those gaps, and in a way I can kind of understand people differently at a deeper level.
How have your thought processes changed since you've left a more restrictive religion?
I'd say for me, in my fundamentalism and evangelical days, I wasn't quite as open-minded. I was very rigid in my thinking, um, closed-minded with certain people and people groups, and now I feel I'm more open to hearing people's views. I'm more open to being wrong. I'm a lot more flexible and able to interdialogue with people when we disagree. Um, and for me, I feel like it's made me a more well-rounded person. Because again, in my evangelical days, I was very restrictive. I was very I wasn't flexible at all. But now I am. So. The plane. Well, I can pretend you're like right there.
That's cool.
Let's
Let's
a
try
learning experience.
an initial.
I'll pretend like you're that tree right there, and I'm like, so
Are you
just don't get
sure?
offended when I'm not looking at you, but I'm looking at. Does this look better?
I'm sorry.
Just don't get offended when I'm not looking at you.
I won't. You're doing a fabulous job
Talking
talking
to a
about
tree.
trees. You're doing awesome. But I think it's just the trees.
Yeah.
That was a good answer.
The Holy Spirit's mad right now.
Wow. That's going in the outtakes.